My name is Dovid. I'm almost a soldier in the Israeli army, and I want to share a question and a thought with you. The question is, what do you do when you have a bad day? Because yesterday, I had a bad day. Yesterday was my first encounter with the Israeli army. I had a series of examinations that tested and decided what I'd be able to do in the army, and it didn't go so well. So first of all, the whole thing took 8 hours, which is a long time for anything to take, and it's all in Hebrew. But the most challenging part of it was when I realized that I wasn't going to be able to do what I wanted to do in the army, which happened at the medical examination. So I went in for the medical examination. I went behind the curtain where the medical examination takes place, and we did the whole thing. I told him my information. I gave him the medical sheets that I brought with me. And then as I was getting dressed, he went back behind the curtain. He was typing things into his computer. He asks me, what do you want to do in the army? So I told him I want to be a combat soldier. I moved to Israel recently, really to give of myself to this nation and to the values that it represents. And in my army service, I wanted to be able to do that to the degree where I would be in a position to give up my life for what I believe in. So he asked me, what do you want to do in the army? And I told him I want to be a combat soldier. And I finished getting dressed, I come back behind the curtain, sit down at a desk across from him, and he gives me the news. You can't be a combat soldier. You can't do what you want to do in the army. And it was very challenging. I already knew coming in that that was a possibility, but the finality of it really hurt. And so I finished up the rest of the examinations, and I came back home. After I got home, I asked myself the question that I asked you. What do you do when you have a bad day? And I thought to myself, I have two options. One is to be overwhelmed, and the other one is to overcome. For the first option, I was thinking, maybe I'll go to sleep. I'll try to put this out of my mind. A little bit of escapism. And the other option was to acknowledge that this was difficult, but I want to move on. I want to continue going on with my day. I want to take this challenge and build from it. And think to myself, how do I want to deal with this? Do I want to continue to do good things? Do I want to return to normal life, or do I want to allow this to wear on me and to hold me back? And I decided to build. I decided to move on from it. And something that I took away from this, and that I hope that you do too, is to ask yourselves that question. What do you do when things are hard? What do you do when you find yourselves on that bad day? I think that we know better than to try to run away from it, to try to escape our feelings and our thoughts. But do we do more than that? Do we just deal with it? Do we just find ourselves in a struggle and that's it, we'll make do as a survivor? Or are we builders? Do we grow from it? Do we meet the challenge face on and say, I will overcome?